This is for Busy Phillips. I had a dream about Busy Phillips 2 years ago. We were in North Carolina in a river. We were naked and she was guiding my chakra, all my chakra balancing to make it completely sacred. And oh my God, Busy Phillips. I need to talk to you about your soul, Busy Phillips. I love your taste in flowers. I would use those same bright colors for flowers at my wedding if I were to get married in Hawaii, Busy Phillips. But see, you're very easily connected to the Kundalini. So when you have a friendship with somebody who can connect to the Kundalini, like with Russell Brand as well, you don't really need words. You can feel each other's truth. And Busy didn't know that Jesus Christ wasn't a prophet, just like I didn't. I figured it out when I was 27. My mother told me when I lost my virginity when I was 16, my mother told me I would have an abortion if I got pregnant. When I got my license and they asked me whether I was a Republican or Democrat, my mother screamed Democrat. I never had a choice. But with Jesus here, we have free will and we have a choice. And when I didn't, it was a blessing for me not to have a choice, because I got to be like you. I got to be a sinner like you. I got to think I was on board with getting an abortion. I've never been pregnant, but I would have very well gotten an abortion like Busy Phillips, because my mother told me to before I ever got pregnant, like a Cobra mom, like a Chinese mom would tell, like a Hitler. Well, Busy Phillips now understands that if Birdie was inside of her and she allowed herself to feel Birdie and not make the choice to abort, you know, talking about abortion is very personal. It's getting away with suicide while you're alive. That's what an abortion is. It's suicide while you're alive. It's your first death. Because when you die your natural death, may it be 100 years old, you'll go to hell. Unless you reform your life so much and become an activist against abortions. That's the only way you'll get into heaven, after you've had an abortion on earth. That's why it's suicide, because suicide is the path to hell. And why do people commit suicide? Because they live in hell on earth, correct? No happy people are killing themselves. So if you're that miserable, you kill yourself and you go to hell. You kill your baby inside of you, which is a reflection of your perfect, pure soul. When you were born, you were perfect. When you put a baby inside of you, with the help of your counterpartner, whether that be a one-night stand, whatever that seed was to create that miracle inside of you, if you kill it, you will go to hell. So even if it's an inconvenience because it's going to make you poor, it's too much money to bring in another child, it's better than going to hell. And the only way you don't go to hell is if you get on your knees and ask for forgiveness, and you will be so sorry that you will become an activist against abortions. And then you will get into heaven. Otherwise, you won't. I feel like the Democratic Party will stop promoting abortions now, because they'll say we didn't know. We didn't have a legit spirit medium to tell us this. That kid Tyler on Netflix, you're a spirit medium like my friend Maureen Flood is. So you should have her on your show, because that's called a sinning spirit medium. So you're gonna have a lot of sinful spirits come to you and not tell you the truth of Christ. If you're a pure, not a Puritan, fucking pure soul, A pure soul. What does that mean? Someone who doesn't cheat. Someone who isn't homosexual. Someone who doesn't have abortions. Someone who doesn't have sex before marriage. Then you'll know the truth of the afterlife, of the afterlife of Christ. Otherwise, you just get people like stuck in mazes here. We all have spiritual gifts here. There's lots of people who can have the gift of mediumship, but if you're sinning, you're just gonna have wicked spirits. Well, Busy Phillips, there's a solution besides just not having sex, because I know you guys with your uncircumcised dicks love the feeling of sex so much, even if it gives your girls yeast infections, because you don't know proper hygiene and you're too proud to circumcise your dick, even though Jesus is a mushroom. So if you're uncut and you want to prove your alliance that you love Jesus Christ, circumcise your dick. Your wife will thank you. Your wife will thank you. It's a sacrifice. And you know what? You're not going to crave fucking a coconut. You're not going to crave fucking an apple pie. You're not going to crave fucking a pig on a farm. And you're not going to crave fucking your little 7 to 13-year-old cousin. So the solution is orphanages. They don't exist in the United States of America. We have adoption and we have the foster program. Both are a type of money laundering scam that doesn't actually care about the soul of the child. So in God's reality, it's a Thanos snap, they don't exist. No more foster program. You're no longer paid to have your slaves, your foster kids. And adoption, you guys don't want to adopt black babies, so I'm gonna make the best fucking orphanages with Melania Trump. I know you don't like Melania Trump, Busy Phillips, but I don't like that you brag about having abortions and encourage women to just open their legs, have sex with people that aren't their soulmates, get pregnant, and then kill themselves and send their own self to hell. They live their 100-year life here, if they're lucky, in hell. Why? Because they don't think about that abortion they had. They compartmentalize it. They put it somewhere deep in the back in the sublime, where they blame all their problems on something else, when the root problem is that they murdered themselves and got away with it, and they're walking zombies here. So instead of you guys doing that, because you can't see the truth that you're killing yourself, and you don't think hell is real like a Jehovah's Witness or a Jew, even though I guarantee it is. Hey, that Tyler guy on Netflix, ask the spirits if hell is real. Ask them. Ask them if hell is real, because they will tell you no. Why? Because you're on your way there, because you're a homosexual man. You're a sinner. And they want you to keep being their little bitch here. So they'll tell you everything you need to hear to keep sending your soul to hell. And I'm telling you, you need to shut your gift off right now. You need to go to rehab. Go to rehab. I hate the word conversion camp. I hate the method of hate. I really don't like Donald Trump. I don't like his hateful tongue. But his wife, Melania, was my mother in a past life when we were witches, and I know her. And I know how much she loved me as her child. She does care. She does care. So we're gonna make orphanages everywhere. It's not gonna be like Annie. It's not gonna be like Madeline. It's gonna be like something you've never seen before, because we need a safe place on this planet for children where they're not sexually molested or used or abused or treated as if they don't have a soul. Shia LaBeouf did a project called Touch My Soul. He also spoke at Oxford, and he said, what is a soul? What is it made of? And everyone laughed, because people are afraid of their own souls. Because you are all individually a soul, and all of us together alive in this flesh are one soul. We are all connected here. We are all connected here through our soul. And you will fight it and resist it the more that you deny you have a soul. And how do you deny you have a soul? By treating others like they don't. When you kill another person, when you maim, when you abuse, when you belittle, when you step on another person, that's you proving that you don't believe they have a fucking soul. So if you don't believe another person has a soul, it means you don't believe you yourself have a soul. So what are you, child? How do you exist here with a personality if you don't have a fucking soul? Is your ego your soul? Well, if your ego's your soul, your ego is what will burn in hell after you die. Your ego will burn. And why is it burning? It's like metal in a fire, like a ring in fire, sterilizing it, perfecting it, molding it to be better. So when you're reincarnated here, you'll be a better person who doesn't promote murder. And what is murder? Murder and rape are very similar. They kind of go hand in hand. Like if you have an abortion, you can literally be a walking zombie here. A murderer who killed yourself walking around. And if you fucked someone and got pregnant and you weren't ready to be a parent and you give birth to that kid, you rape their mind. If you're not ready to be a parent, you have a kid and you rape their mind with your bad parenting, your bad words of advice, your bad behavior. You weren't ready to have children. So don't have sex. Sex is a privilege here for people who are ready to be parents. Sex feels phenomenal. The orgasm is sacred and special, and it feels phenomenal. And you should only be rewarded through feeling God at the altar through marriage, because that means you're ready to be parents. Don't get married if you're not ready to be parents. Don't have sex if you're not ready to get married. Oh, I'm melting. How can I live my life without sex? I'm melting. Well, then don't complain that the Armageddon is here. Look around. Everything's gone to shit because you don't want to stop having sex. And I tell you, Busy Phillips, if you would have kept your legs closed and prayed for your husband, you would have never had that abortion. And then you wouldn't be humble bragging about it to make your own ego feel better, because misery loves company, right? You're so guilty from your abortions, Busy, that you have to make sure it's fine that other girls have it too. It's not a sorority in hell, Busy Phillips. It's emptiness. It's void. It's depression. It's a fish being gutted, and we act here like that fish can't feel the fucking pain. So when you're in hell, we all ignore you. We ignore that you're in hell, like you ignore that fish feel pain. I'm not gonna say, just keep living your sinful life. I'm gonna be so fucking batshit crazy, annoying, Matthew Sterling, stalker, insane, unstable, irrational, to make you look at me when I tell you the truth, that God has returned and God is humble. That's why you never believed in God, because God is humble and God wanted you to find him through faith. That's what Mary Magdalene's letters say. The church is 2 people or more. So this is me and my phone. We're a church. And as God as my witness, I swear, I vow every day to remind you, abortion is murdering your own soul. Look at me when I say that. Don't look away. It's the truth. Look at me. Get an IUD if you want to be a sinner. A sinner is someone who has sex before marriage. If you're married, there is no sin in an IUD. Catholics. Catholics who stole all that fucking art. So, Busy Phillips, I know we'll be friends. You're a little more bohemian. You're a little bit more like my aunts and my mom. They're witches who say they have Christ, but they don't know Christ at all because they live their premarital sex life. You get cursed when you live a life of sin and get away with it. You get cursed when you don't try to be perfect like Jesus. It's so simple. You just have to read the children's Bible and how he walked here. And that's all you have to be here. And I'm letting you know, Jesus loves weed, Jesus loves shrooms, ayahuasca, and the acid that the military did not use. There's a few different types of acid. One the military used to program Busy Phillips' parents to raise her that way. Jesus doesn't like that type of acid. But in Charlie Countryman, you know, the cross was an unnecessary death. But for Busy Phillips, I say it was necessary for Jesus to die. Because every time you have an abortion, it's you choosing to put Jesus back on that cross, Busy Phillips. So, for you, Busy Phillips, it was necessary. Jesus died. Now I pray for the life of all the Jewish people. May you know that Jesus came in your race because you have a way of logic that the Romans didn't. The Romans thought with their uncut penis. The Romans thought with penis envy, so they didn't have logic, but the Jews desensitized their penises as sacrifice to God, so they were able to think with their mind and advance more logically with thinking minds, so that's why Jesus chose their skin. But they were so proud and hubris that they denied him. And it wasn't a big deal because they're the minority. They think they're the majority with the currency exchange here, with the monetary power, but they're more logical than what's in their bank account. And I'm just an emotional woman, Donald Trump, who's letting you know that Kamala Harris is going to be the first female president, and Donald Trump will no longer be a rude man. He'll lead by example. He's really old, so he's showing everybody who's my stepdad's age and younger that old dogs definitely can learn new tricks. Because if not, it's Armageddon time. And I'm talking like the movie Don't Look Up. It's Armageddon time.